and welcome to RS Gateways. Today I will be explaining you how to install Tailwind CSS in your text editor. First of all, before starting Tailwind CSS, let's just see what is Tailwind. So according to the Tailwind website itself, it says that it is a utility for CSS framework. Okay, so it says that it is highly customizable, low level CSS framework is required, and many more things. Okay, so this is why it is very helpful, and nowadays the demand for this is increasing. So as a developer, we should learn new things. So here it is, Tailwind CSS. Okay, so it's very simple. First of all, just go to the Tailwind website. Okay, you can just write Tailwind and you can get Tailwind CSS version 1. It is just because I want to start with the basic versions. There are totally 4 versions. As you can see, version 3, version 2, version 1.9.0 and version 0.7.4. okay, so it's all up to you which level of customization, which level of things you want. Just click get started here and you will get all the documentation related to Tailwind CSS, and this is very easy. As you can see that simply it is written number 1. The step number 1 is install, that is install Tailwind via npm. Okay, now what is npm? Npm is node package manager. Okay, it is a type of file executor, that is file manager. Okay, node files. Okay, so for most projects we can take the Tailwind's customizer feature and you can also install it via npm. Okay, since I think npm is one of the most easiest technique to install it, however you can also choose other techniques that will be given in the documentation. Okay, so here it is written npm install Tailwind CSS, and whatever it is written here, the following is written here. Okay, so before starting this, you should be knowing that your system should have installed any node executor, node package executor. Here I am installing Node.js. It is because Node.js will help us to execute the npm packages, that is a node packages. Okay, so there are 2 types of version currently available today. So it is the stable one and the current one. Okay, now currently I am using the current one only, however you can also choose the recommended one. Okay, I will cover this in another video if you want. Simply after installing it, just open your text editor. Like here I am using Visual Studio Code and it will take some time, as you can see. So simply first we will have to open a folder. Okay, you can just open a folder or create a folder. Okay, it's all up to you, whichever drive, whichever location you are willing to move your files, create your files in. So you have to open a folder, okay, or create a new folder in your drive and open it through VS Code or any text editor that you are using anywhere. Okay, I'm just clicking it. So here you can see already I have tried it and created many folders. So I will be creating new folder. Okay, so let's say for example Tailwind CSS RS Gateways, RSG. Okay, RS or Gateways. Okay, now just select that folder and open that folder. Okay, the folder will automatically load here, and you can see that here in our text editor VS Code, Visual Studio Code, we have the folder open. So here you can see that here it is written. So next what we have to do, since here are some of the commands which will help us to install the Tailwind CSS, simply you have to give these commands in your terminal, whichever you prefer. For example, if you prefer CMD command prompt, you can simply type it here and give the command and start the installation process. However, I will give this command in the terminal which is already available in VS Code. Here you can see that simply you have to go here, that is the application menu. As you can see, you can go here, click here, and just down here you have terminal, and here you have new terminal. Okay, just click it. When you click it, you will see that a new terminal here is open. Okay, see, a new terminal is open. So what you have to do is simply see this npm install Tailwind CSS and the version. If you are okay with any other version, if you want to work with the latest version or anything, you can just go simply without any version, directly typing npm install Tailwind CSS. However, I will be following this same method, same command for everyone so that everyone can understand this. Okay, so simply go here in the Visual Studio Code terminal and type npm, okay, install, and simply type npm install tailwind css @1. If you have any type of doubt, you can simply check it in the website itself and you will see that npm install tailwind css @1 is given. However, you can simply copy this and paste it here also, okay, and simply press enter. When you will press enter, according to your internet speed and your system performance, it will load. So here you can see that here is a box given which will help us to see whether our downloading is completed or not, since you can see it is not started yet. And here is the Tailwind CSS RS Gateways folders that I have created, in which the Tailwind will be installed, where I can use it. So you can see that installing has taken place and the Tailwind CSS has been installed successfully. Okay, now simply in the terminal, next thing which we have to do here is give the command npx tailwind css init. Okay, here I would like to tell you that what is npx. Npx means it is the command for node packet execute. Okay, I hope you remember I have recommended you to install Node.js in your system, and Node.js helps us to execute the node files. So here is the node package execute, and what is the node package here? That is the Tailwind CSS, and initialize it, okay, in it. After writing this, simply click enter. So now you can see that Tailwind 1.9.6 has been installed successfully and created Tailwind config file. That is a tailwind.config.js file has been installed successfully. Okay, now so you can see here all the files has come here. So if you remember, I had just created the Tailwind RS Gateways, Tailwind CSS RS Gateways folder, and all the files came, the node modules which is here, the node modules, package JSON files, and Tailwind CSS, that config file, JS file has been installed automatically after installing it. That means we have installed Tailwind CSS successfully, as it is clearly mentioned here. Now the next step would be simply in the folder where you have installed the Tailwind CSS, just create a new file. So here you can see that in VS Code there is a new file option. However, if you would be using any other text editor like Sublime or let's say CMD command prompt, then you can also make the file through that. Okay, so here we will click new file. Since Tailwind CSS here we are using for a better version of CSS, so we will create a CSS file. Alright, so give the CSS file any name. Let's say I will be giving the CSS file name as okay, let's say styles, because we will be giving many styles, right? Styles.css. okay, when you will give enter, here you can see the editor automatically recognizes it, and here we have the output file. Alright, now if you have any type of doubt that how I am doing this, I am just following it. Here it is given two ways to install the Tailwind CSS, that is npm method and yarn method. However, I have used npm method as you have seen, and here now you can see that add Tailwind to your CSS file. Okay, whichever CSS file that I have created, for example I have created here styles.css, right? So after creating a CSS file, you just have to give the Tailwind directive as mentioned in the steps given here in the Tailwind website, and simply give all the style, that is the base components and utility styles, into your CSS. Alright, so simply I will be going back to Visual Code. Simply I will be writing all the directives here as mentioned there. So first one was Tailwind, that already have come, Tailwind base. Alright, then give a semicolon, then enter, then again give the Tailwind directive, it will come here, and simply write components. Alright, give a semicolon, and again give the Tailwind directive and write utilities, and give the semicolon. Okay, I hope you have got this. Now after creating this file, just save it. Okay, simply save it, Ctrl+S, that is a shortcut for saving. Now go here in the terminal. As you can see, I am in the terminal now. Okay, as you can see, I am using a terminal here in the VS Code. Now you have to understand that why we have used this. As mentioned in the Tailwind CSS website, that we have to use it for using all the Tailwind CSS styles. Okay, so to use this we have to give this, and simply this will import all the files here and do rest of the work. Now you don't have to worry much. After saving it in your folder where you are going to use the Tailwind CSS, simply go to the terminal and type npx, that is the node package executor, execute Tailwind CSS build. Now we have created the styles.css file, right? This will give all the Tailwind styles, and we have to create another file which will help us to implement all the styles directly into our HTML file. Like simply, as you might be knowing while using CSS, that we have to use the link and give the external CSS link there and use other CSS properties and styles. Likewise, to use the Tailwind CSS, just give the command in the terminal, that npx tailwind build. What we have built? We have built styles. Which file we just created as a CSS file? Styles.css, right? Space -o for output. Okay, so we have to give these directives as an output for a different CSS file which we will be using in the HTML file. Okay, now let's say I'm going to give the name for my new CSS file as output.css. Now simply, finally, you can see here that it was building the styles.css file, and it has finished to give the output as output a CSS, which is the required file that I wanted, right? So to verify this, you can just simply check it out. When you made this styles.css file, you got the output.css file, which was the desired name for the new CSS file that we will be using in our new HTML file. Alright, now after creating it, it's quite simple. Now this is the new CSS file which you will be using. Yes, this is the CSS file which is created by Tailwind. As you can see, here is the MIT license and many things more. And this all things here, just you can see here, the amount of work which is done here is tremendous, right? So this is all the styles and components and base utilities, everything given by Tailwind CSS. You just need to use it as per your convenience, and you can also modify it if needed. Alright, so now let's see a application of Tailwind CSS. I hope you are clear how to install the Tailwind CSS file. Now simply I will show you a demo that how to use it in a HTML file. Now simply create a new file and save it. Let's say this is rs gateways, alright, .html. So we have a new file called rsgateways.html. Now simply give all the necessary details, whichever language, whichever thing you are going to use it. Give the name of the document, that is, let's say rs gateways. Okay, and we will moving ahead. However, before that, I will be launching this side by side in my browser so that you can also see it. So here I will be going with live and simply opening this file. So you can simply see that here I have got the rs gateways file that I just created, and here is the local machine link, whichever it is, okay, address basically. So simply go and type link, then you will have the definite set of line statement, and simply give the name of the CSS file which you will be using, that it is the output.css, right, which you will be using. So output, here we have the file. If you want to confirm whether it is the right file which you have created through Tailwind CSS to use it, so simply control and click. So you will have the desired page automatically opened here. Okay, like I will show you again. Like simply, like you can see, it is not opened here, output.css. Simply go and control click, so it will be opened automatically. Now simply create a web page. Side by side I will be opening this browser so that you can also see it. So before starting Tailwind CSS, you should be knowing what are the things that Tailwind CSS is offering. Here simply By going in the Tailwind website, you can see in the list that there are numerous things that Tailwind CSS offers. That's why it is one of the most demanded CSS nowadays. So you can see here the customization, we have content, themes, screens, color spacing, plugins, and much more. There are numerous things that one can do from Tailwind CSS. However, I will not be going in depth by using each and every Tailwind CSS. I will just be creating a very basic HTML which you will be making even without using Tailwind CSS. However, I will just be showing what is the main difference. So let's say, for example, if you want to use colors in your HTML file, okay, so if you go to search color, just for example, you have text color here. Actual property of each color is this, and simply writing this, you can change the intensity and quality of that colors. Okay, not only that, let's see here in customization. For customizing a website, a web page, you can see various things. Just let's say, for example, colors that we are dealing with. And being a creative artist, or being a business, being a company who must focus on designs and things, so you can choose various options from the colors which is already preloaded in Tailwind CSS. Just what you have to do, I will show you. Let's say you write something in your HTML file. Okay, all right, let's say you want to give different colors to different paragraphs but with different styles. Then you can give through it. All right, now you might be looking here in my website, and here it is written as some text in a web page. If you want to color specifically which is not available normally, but you want to give shade, simply go here and write class. Okay, class. Then let's say example, you want to color this text which is here in this paragraph. Then say text, which color do you want? Now you have to use it as a reference. Now there are several colors which you can use. Let's say, for example, I am using red here. So simply you have to remember the word red, which you know already. So simply write here red. Then see, after installing everything, you have all the combinations of color that one can get. But if you don't get that list which I am getting here, as you can see, I am getting numerous lists here. If you don't get that, simply type hyphen and number from 50 to 900. Let's say, for example, I am taking 500. So when you will type 500, simply your color should change. Yes, you can see here the color is changed. So this means that we have applied the Tailwind CSS, which actually was something else. Now you can see here what was the real text here in the CSS. You can see it is something else. There are numerous things that one can vary, one have to deal with, but Tailwind CSS have already done it for you. Okay, now let's say I am giving a normal code. Now simply you can choose anything you want to give. Let's say for example, if I want to color this, then I will simply go to class and what I have to do, I have to take this from the reference from Tailwind. Let's say for example, if I am dealing with font, okay, font, let's say I want to change the font weight. So simply for example, here it is written font bold and it is actual property of font weight 700, right? So simply giving font bold, okay, so I will be using it font bold. Maybe you can see the changes. So you can see RS gateways here is in bold now. Now simply you can give other things too. Let's say you want to give this everything, all the letters of RS gateways as uppercase, right? So you simply have to give uppercase. Then maybe this has changed and you can see all the letters are here in capital letter. All right. However, I don't want uppercase now, so I will not be using. Let's say let's see other properties, other utilities. Let's say spacing. Okay, in spacing there are three things that we are having here. So padding is one of the things, that is element padding. So you can see here how you can give spaces and padding between different things that you want to see. Let's say, like you can see here, you can give padding according to your wish. Let's say in the X direction, that is a left right direction, that is X direction. You can see here Y direction, top and bottom, and padding top, padding bottom, padding rear, padding right, many things are there, right? So I will just be showing you, like let's say for example, if I'm using P100, okay, maybe it has changed. Okay, all right, let's say P56. Then you can see here the difference. All right, means P100 is not there. So P56 when I put here, then you can see the changes. Okay, now when I remove this, you can simply see the change, and when I put it again, then you can see the change. All right, so this is some of the application of Tailwind CSS. I will not be going in deep. However, this is the web page that I have shown you, and you can, if you want to create more, you can simply use the Tailwind CSS website as your reference and use each and every utility that you can for making your web page, making your website as beautiful as you can. All right, so now that's it. I hope you understood how to install Tailwind CSS and how to use the CSS file that will be created using Tailwind CSS to use it to make your HTML file as beautiful as you want using Tailwind features. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot. If you have any type of queries, please comment down below and I will meet you in the next one. Thank you.